Hi everyone, I'm Miss Kelly. I'm so glad you're joining us for Family Chapel today, and I'm so glad to have some time to spend with you to light our chalice and to be mindful of our joys and sorrows. Will you take a deep breath with me? How about one more deep breath? I'm going to light our chalice, and if you have a chalice wherever you are, I invite you to light it now. And will you now join me in our chalice lighting words? You can find the words to this month's chalice lighting in the bright yellow envelope that we sent to your house. We light this flame as a symbol of our renewal. May we renew our commitment to loving ourselves as we are, being brave enough to be fully ourselves always. May we renew our love for others in equity and justice, bravely speaking up against injustice. May we renew our love for Mother Earth and all her creatures, keeping them safe from harm. May we renew our promise not to cause harm or to hurt others, apologizing for harm caused this year. May we light this flame of love and healing to renew our spirits and bring light to the world. Whenever we come together for chapel, we set some time aside for our joys and sorrows. And today I invite you to take a moment and think about the joys and sorrows that you're holding in your heart. If you're watching this video with members of your family, feel free to take some time and share your joys and sorrows with one another. Perhaps you're thinking of your family. Perhaps you're thinking of your pets. Perhaps you're thinking of your friends. And maybe you're thinking about this upcoming school year, which is certainly going to be quite different and perhaps challenging for a lot of us. Whatever is in your heart and on your mind, we take a moment now to hold space for those things and to honor those things. And now I'll drop one more stone for all the things unspoken that you may be holding in your heart. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Hello, everyone. I'm Michael, and this week's hymn is My Life Flows On in Endless Song, number 108. Sometimes it's referred to as How Can I Keep From Singing? And I'll play it and sing it through twice for you. My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing? My life flows on in endless song above earth's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds an echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing?
This is the story of the whole boy. It's a story that's told all around the world, and it's a story about a boy who is incomplete. Long ago and far away, yet not so long ago nor far away, there was a boy. He was an ordinary boy in every way, except that he felt as though he were full of holes. He felt as though he had holes everywhere, in his heart, in his head, in his arms, in his legs. He felt as though he had as many holes as he had body, and he called himself Hole Boy, beginning with an H. This feeling of being full of holes made the boy sad and mad all at once. It stirred up trouble inside him, and so he caused trouble all around him. When the fishers were preparing to set their lines, Hole Boy tangled them. When the farmers were planting their fields, Hole Boy raced through and trampled the ground. When the musicians were preparing to play, Hole Boy shouted and stomped and screamed as loudly as he could. When the other children were trying to play, Hole Boy found a way to get in their way. The older Hole Boy grew, the more trouble he caused. People soon had enough, and they let him know. Children began to jeer and throw sticks at him. Women called him a pest and shooed him away. Men scolded him and chased him off. Finally, it was unbearable to have him around. He could hardly bear himself. Some people wanted to drive him out of the village. Others wanted to destroy him. But there was one woman who had watched the boy, and she noticed that the trouble was as much inside him as it was outside. She had compassion for the boy and believed he could change. She said, "You say you are full of holes, and you call yourself Hole Boy. You cause trouble, but I think it is this feeling of holes that causes your bad behavior. If you could feel whole with a W, everything could change." The woman continued, "If you venture out into the world, I think you will find a part of you that is missing. I think you will find a boy who also has holes. That boy will make you whole. You will become Hole Boy with a W. Then you will find your goodness." The woman's words were puzzling, and yet they were like sweet nectar to the boy. Never before had anyone had faith in him or shown him such kindness. For the first time ever, he felt warmth in his holy heart. For the first time ever, he had hope. The next morning, Hole Boy set off. His steps were hesitant and uneven, but he made his way along through thick brush and past giant trees. Wind whistled through his holes and blew him about. Branches snagged him and stopped him short. Vines grabbed him. Animal sounds frightened him. The river roared right at him. Its spray splashed and soaked him. But on he journeyed. Finally, at nightfall, he crept into a village square and asked the people, "Have you seen a boy like me who is full of holes?" They pondered for a while. Finally, an old woman said, "We have heard of one like that, somewhere toward the sunset." The next morning, Hole Boy set out again, and now he made his way for 2 days through thick brush and past giant trees. Wind whistled through his holes and blew him about. Branches snagged him and stopped him short. Vines grabbed him. Animal sounds frightened him. The river roared right at him. Its spray splashed and soaked him. But on he journeyed. Finally, he came to the next village. When he asked about another Hole Boy, they too pointed toward the sunset. The next morning, Hole Boy set out again, and now he stumbled and bumbled for 3 days through thick brush and past giant trees. Wind whistled through his holes and blew him about. Branches snagged him and stopped him short. Vines grabbed him. animal sounds frightened him. The river roared right at him. Its spray splashed and soaked him, but on he journeyed. On the third day, as he approached a third village, he heard a loud cry, "Another holy boy! Another holy boy has arrived!" Before long, Whole Boy saw the other boy, the holy boy, coming toward him. There could be no doubt that it was his other half. The two boys were the same size. They were each complete in precisely the places where the other had holes. No one knew why, but that's the way they were. The boys recognized themselves in one another. Even so, they weren't quite sure what to make of each other. They circled around one another, sometimes smiling, sometimes suspicious. They began to wrestle. They tussled and tossed and swung one another around. They stirred up the dust and the dirt and the water in the river. The wind began to howl, and rain pelted down. Thunder roared and lightning flashed. The boys fought all through the night. The storm raged all night long. At last the sun rose. All was quiet except for the birds, who sang more beautifully than ever before. In the calm of morning, a single boy walked out of the river and out of the forest. He was a whole boy now, a whole boy with a W and without a single hole, except, of course, for the ones that we all have. Whole Boy said goodbye to the people of the village and made his way back through the forest. Not once did the wind blow him about. Not once did a branch snag him. No vine tripped him. No animal sounds frightened him. Even the river was calm. When at last Whole Boy arrived in the village where Whole Boy had begun the journey, he found the woman who had believed in him. She welcomed him home with her arms wide open. Whole Boy laughed. That night they feasted, sang, and danced in celebration of his wholeness. The end. Hi everyone. I hope you enjoyed the story of the Whole Boy. I have some wondering questions for you to talk about with your family. I wonder, has another person's faith in you ever made a difference in how you behaved? I wonder, have you believed in someone when others did not? And I wonder how you kept that belief and what difference it made. I wonder, have you had challenges like the Whole Boy? And have those challenges made you struggle for wholeness? Have you started using the discussion questions on your calendar? Have you started making cards to answer the questions? I just want to remind you that we sent out a calendar in your yellow envelopes. And if you didn't receive it, this calendar is up on the website. But I hope you and your family decide to answer these questions in a discussion every day, maybe at dinner time, maybe for breakfast. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.
Hi. We're here today with our index cards. So what I have here is I did the question, what do you want our world to look like? Here's what I think our world looks like now, with a lot of trash and pollution, and then on the other side, it looks very nice and healthy. And this is what I want our world to look like. Always really healthy, no pollution, all the animals being okay, and everybody included. And then I have this one where it was, what do you like most about yourself? And I like my eyes the most. And then I have this one where it is, how do you feel when you apologize? I feel relieved and really happy that I made somebody feel better.
Hi, it's Sophia here, and I'm going to be showing you my index cards. So, I did what is my favorite local flower, and this is my best picture of a bluebell. I see them often when we're on walks with our dog, and I think they're very pretty, and I like to pick them. Next we have here is a picture of the chalice. This represents our chalice that we have at home. It has some green and some blue on it, and we put our candle in there. And then finally, I have drawn my family. I forgot to put a face on, but this is my mom. This is my dad. There's no face because it's being covered by his hair. This is my sister. And then finally, here is me.